This piece of broccoli symbolizes one of the most important investments I've made in my whole entire life. Well, not literally, but let me explain. So as I'm sitting here eating my meal prep dinner, by the way, if you want to see, I got some kimchi, some broccoli, rice, and then there's some chicken underneath the kimchi, but you can't see. But anyways, as I'm sitting here eating my meal prep dinner, I've been thinking about how important mental health and physical health is when it comes to FIRE, investing, and just life in general. So I was reading Reddit a couple days back, and one comment in particular really stood out to me and prompted me to really make this video. The comment goes something like this: for people that are pursuing FIRE, at some point in their life, they're going to hit some limitations on the things that they want to do, the places they want to see. And it's not because of money or work, it's going to be because of your health and your body. So the goal is to make that day or that limitation as late in life as possible. Now, many people think that the 9 to 5 is a trap and it's a rat race, and they're doing everything they can to escape it. And in order to do that, a lot of people are giving up the years that they're young, able-bodied, and fit in order to pursue their careers and accelerate their path to FIRE. And to me, that makes sense. There has to be some sort of sacrifice. But I don't think it has to be one way or the other, and there's a way to sort of balance the best of both worlds. Now, if you're already financially minded, you'll know that the investments you make now while you're young are going to compound for the rest of your life. And I think the exact same goes for health. So imagine what result you would have in 10, 20 years if you invested as much as you did into your health as you do to your 401k. But I know it's really cringe to say, but honestly, they're right. Health is wealth. And in general, I think the money that you spent on your overall health is always worth it. And this could be things like organic food, gym memberships, yoga, therapy, or really anything that increases the quality of life that you have and prolongs that quality over your whole entire lifetime. So personally, last year, I probably spent around $4,000 on things that I would say that are benefiting my health. And these are things like groceries. So last year I spent around $3,000 on groceries. Now, this isn't all healthy food, to be fair. I've also spent $350 on gym memberships, as well as parks passes, admissions to get into hikes. And I've also lumped in my health category, which is doctor's visits, prescription medication, physiotherapy, that sort of thing. And honestly, this 4,000 number is a bit blurry, mostly because I didn't track everything perfectly. And if this cost were to increase in 2024 or 2025, is honestly something I would not be upset about, because to me, it's the same as investing into your 401k or your Roth IRA. Now, there are thousands of publications online that you can go and find that talk about how important working out is, or staying healthy or staying fit. So you can go and search that. I don't want to bore you with things that you already know. But anecdotally, I want to say this. I'm 25 years old right now, and the habits that I formed in my early 20s, like when I was 21, 22, have really stuck with me to this day. And those habits, whether they're good or they're bad, are much easier to maintain than new habits that I'm trying to form right now while I'm 25. So for example, I've been trying to read, been trying to pick it up for the longest time, and I just can't. You know what I mean? It's so hard for me to just sit down and take a book and read and form that habit. But something like going to the gym, or unfortunately playing League of Legends, is something that I've been able to keep doing year after year. And for me, it's really easy to make excuses like I'm tired, I want to wake up early, blah, 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 all these different things. And it's like, I'm only 25 right now. I realistically don't have that many responsibilities. But again, it's so hard for me to make these habits. So I'd imagine as I get older and I'm actually faced with real responsibilities like taking care of another person, like a child or whatever, it's going to be that much harder to find the motivation to start those habits and maintain them later on in my life. And basically through my whole entire gym life, I've been only doing like the bro split. Now I've been trying to incorporate a lot more cardio into my workouts because I sit at a desk all day, behind a computer. So I honestly see the effects of sitting behind the desk all day working at a computer. And this is coming from someone who's not very religious about the gym at all. I probably go 3 to 4 times a week and miss a lot of workouts. But even having that consistency week by week has really helped me, again, physically and mentally. And again, I'm not saying that I'm any sort of triathlete or that you should be a triathlete or whatever, but just that you should go out and move your body once in a while. I also think this same kind of thought process can be put towards the food that you put into your body. And it's like that term that you've always heard, garbage in, garbage out. I've noticed this a lot, in particular when I go travel. When I'm at home, I eat pretty healthy food. I'm not saying that I'm a Michelin star chef or anything like that, but this is a pretty balanced meal in my eyes. But when I'm traveling, I eat like garbage and I feel like garbage. And personally, the things that I kind of do to make sure that I'm getting the right food for me is I do most of my own cooking, which aside from it being good for you, I think is a super important life skill. And the way that I try to frame my mind around food in particular is that if I can't conceivably make this or understand how to make something, I try not to eat it. Say, for example, something like a chocolate croissant in a bakery. If I see this, I'm going to think, okay, it's pretty difficult to probably make that. If I make it, it's not going to be pretty good, but I definitely can make that at home. But that same croissant that's been in a plastic bag, that's been sitting on a shelf for who knows how long, with ingredients that I can't read or understand, is not something that I try to actively put in my body. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I literally bought a bag of chips today, and I've been known to eat like those mystery hot dogs from Costco. But I think that starting this habit right now and trying to build that consistency, even if you have a mistake here and there, is really going to help your body in the long term when, you're not 25 and basically can eat anything and be okay with it. And I think this idea of eating well and being active also ties into the mental health aspect of it as well. Like, there's no point in grinding for FIRE to hit this arbitrary number like 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil, whatever. right? If you're miserable and you have nothing to show for it at the end of the road. And the sentiment that I see overwhelmingly online in the FIRE community is that you have to retire to something, if that makes sense. So as my net worth has started to grow a lot faster, I'm focusing more on prioritizing the quality of life that I want to be living now and in the future rather than the quantity that's in my 401k account. So things like prioritizing friends and family and building relationships and interests in hobbies that I actually enjoy. At least for me, my whole entire life up until this point has been essentially grinding for the next objective. Now, I don't want to get too conspiracy theorist on this or too, macro lens on this, but essentially the whole entire system is set up for you to think like this. You start as a kid in school and you basically grinded all the way up until now with the objective of always achieving the next thing. In high school, I grinded to get to university. In university, I grinded to graduate. That was the objective. Then it was an internship, grinding to get the return offer, and then the full-time job, grinding to reach FIRE. But then what's after FIRE? Right? Like, what else do you have to grind for? So in my eyes, if you grinded this whole entire time to reach the end goal of achieving FIRE, you have to retire to something that you actually enjoy. To me, the same way that you invest in the stock market, the same way you invest into your health is the same way that you should invest into hobbies and things that you actually enjoy outside of work. Now, I've heard this quote floating around online, and honestly, I'm probably misquoting it, but it goes something like this. You need 3 hobbies. One that lets you learn, one that lets you be creative, and one that lets you be active. And once I started looking at the things that I do outside of work in that kind of lens, it has really helped me form some type of fulfillment outside of work. So for example, I'll talk about my guitar. So this is a guitar that my mom got me for my birthday one year. It's a very nice guitar. I love it a lot. It's probably honestly the only guitar I'll ever need in my life. But funny story behind this guitar. It's pretty expensive, especially for like your first guitar. Like I think I was like 13 or 14 when my mom bought this for me as a birthday gift. And at the time, I think it was like $800, $900 Canadian, which at that point was a lot of money. And my mom said that she would only get it for me if I played it in church, which I did. I played it for like 2 months in church. And then I was like, I'm kind of done with this. But she still let me keep the guitar. So thanks, Mom, if you're watching this, for the guitar. I love it. Now, for some context, I've been playing music for my whole entire life. I started playing piano when I was 6 years old, stopped when I was like 18, and at the same time, I picked up guitar and saxophone sometime in high school, which I still play guitar now to this day. But to be honest, I kind of suck at music despite how long I've been playing it for. Like, if you thought that if I played this long, I'd be pretty good at it, but honestly, I'm not. But I think me not being good at it makes it my favorite hobby. And because I suck at music so much, at guitar so much, I intend to never make $1 from it, right? Like, for me, it's purely a pursuit of passion. I answer to no one when I play guitar except for myself. The only person that I compare myself was the guitar player I was the day before. It's a tie back to the beginning where I said that you have to have a hobby where you're constantly learning. I think this is a perfect example because for me, I've unlocked another way to progress in life that is aside from climbing some kind of corporate ladder or making more money. This skill or hobby that I'm constantly trying to get better at is completely detached from my societal view on how much I'm worth or how much money it brings me, etc. And when you think about it, I think it's very important to have a hobby or have something that's sort of like this where you can have some kind of progression in your life, because normally you're getting that type of progression from your career, right? Like you get a promotion, you're making more money, you're learning more things, and you feel fulfilled because you're getting better at something. But what's to say what happens when you achieve FIRE? Now that you are actually independent from your job and you randomly stopped working, do you think that you're going to have the same type of fulfillment from doing nothing the whole entire day? Now, when I think about it, I can see myself being lost, right? And being like unfulfilled because I no longer have a clear sense of purpose. So that's why I think that investing in your hobbies and investing in your friends and your relationships is something that is very important, but often neglected when people talk about financial independence. And for me personally, the moment that I started getting money is the moment that I started thinking about FIRE. I honestly think I found it when I was like 18 years old and have not looked back since. But if you're curious about specifically why I'm so interested in FIRE, you can watch this video right here where I talk about why I save 50% of my income.